I've never had plans to visit Cambodia before. I didn't find Cambodia on a map or spin a globe and point to it randomly saying that's where I'm going to go. I was never the one to find Cambodia. Cambodia found me. I walked in a lot of different areas on my trip. Some clean, some dirty. Some places were rich in culture, other places were downright smelly. I walked in people's homes, roads, businesses, landmarks. Some places I walked were disheartening, and some were one of the most magnificent places I've ever seen in my life. This is my trip to Cambodia, through my eyes. On Thursday, February 19th, 2015, I boarded a plane from LAX to Taiwan. It would be the first plane ride of many on my trip and the longest, 15 hours. It was a big deal for me because I had never left the country before. We landed in Taipei, Taiwan, and I think it's safe to say I felt very out of my element. It was exciting though. There was Hello Kitty everywhere and such rich culture. It was surreal taking it all in for the first time. During our layover, we ate pot stickers and braised beef and rice, and I experienced my first ever foreign Coca-Cola with real cane sugar. It tasted like home, a place I was now far from. We then took a plane from Taiwan to Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and when we arrived, I was hit with a wall of heat and humidity. It was unlike anything I've ever felt before. This was going to be my home for the next week. First of all, everyone travels on motorcycles and scooters, but they refer to them as motos. There'd be parking lots full of motos of all different kinds of brands and shapes and colors. But if you would ask me my favorite thing about Cambodia, I'd tell you the tuk-tuks. Tuk-tuks are Cambodians' form of taxi. It's a moto that's connected to a cart with 2 seats on each side, comfortable enough for 4 people, and quick trips around town were usually no more than $1. We took tuk-tuks everywhere, and when we didn't, I was usually on the back of a moto myself. Did I mention the driving is insane? No one follows any rules, including traffic lights, but apparently there's some unwritten system to how it all works because it just does. And that's kind of how Cambodia operates. It just does. There's no plan, no real laws. People just get by. They survived. I learned quickly that all they really know how to do is survive, a result of the genocide only 30 years ago by a man named Pol Pot. His regime killed millions of innocent people, scholars, professionals, leaders, people who would have elevated the country had they not been executed. Instead, Pol Pot left the nation struggling to catch back up, and there was evidence of this everywhere during my travels. I explored the grounds of what was once one of the main killing fields. There are no words really to explain the things I saw. Bones, mass graves. They've since turned the location into something beautiful, a way to honor those who were killed unmercifully in the dirt. And that was something else I noticed about Cambodia. It has this real great sense of hope that sort of eludes from its dark history, mostly in the form of NGOs or non-government organizations. I spent a majority of my time with the organization Water of Life, a Christian-based organization that provides English classes, rescues women from vulnerable situations, and brings in children who are abandoned by their parents or sick. One of the things that impacted me the most was seeing the Khmer people worship before church. It was so inspiring. It gave me that world perspective that everyone is always talking about. Another really great thing I did with Water of Life was called Island Outreach. A group of us from the trip and organization took a boat to a rural part of Cambodia where we were greeted with swarms of hugs from children and smiles from adults who knew what we were there for as we walked along rice fields to a tarp laid out in a field. We sang, danced, and taught to the children. It's hard not to fall in love with the children of Cambodia. They're the kind of hope that the country needs. They're the generation who will be around to fix everything. Water of Life's influence on them is important because some of the brightest kids who now lead this outreach came from these very villages. Despite its rough exterior, there's a lot of beauty in Cambodia. You just have to know where to look. I found it in the buildings and statues, the money, the homes, rice fields, and in its history. We ended up taking a short plane ride to Angkor Wat and saw some of the most amazing hand-built temples. The craftsmanship, attention to detail, and sheer size of the hand-carved rock was really something to behold. We watched the sunrise over Angkor Wat to start the day and explored the temples and learned of the history while enjoying delicious pineapple and even a coconut or two. We ended that day with feet massages done by Fish at Pub Street, a popular tourist spot. The other things we saw there, I have no footage of, because I was so taken aback, I didn't have the courage to lift my camera. A small child holding a sleeping newborn child begging for money for formula. I was somewhat prepared for this because I'd heard stories. It's a scam to make money. They don't really need the formula, and actually they sell it back to the store once you leave. If you inspected the newborn closer, you'd see it wasn't sleeping at all, but drugged to keep quiet. Walking through an alleyway on our way back to the hotel, we saw women sitting under red lights, their heads hanging in desperation. It was unreal, like a scene out of a movie. It sent shivers down my spine. I may have no footage to show you about these instances, but I have my stories, and the images I saw, I'll never forget. We spent our days in Cambodia traveling to different parts of the country and helping where we could. I taught some of the Water of Life guys about editing video of their travels and experiences, and we even met with some of the women of Holly's home, a place where women who were saved from unfortunate situations could live peacefully. Some were getting their teeth cleaned for the first time in their lives, and we even treated them to duck eggs, or balut, a delicacy in Cambodia that consists of a developing duck embryo that is boiled and eaten in the shell. No, I did not try them, but the girls loved them, and that made me happy. We also ate at some really nice restaurants that had super yummy food, played with cute Cambodian dogs, and I tried my best to not get homesick, which was pretty tough. I'll be honest, traveling to Cambodia is something that is definitely out of my comfort zone, but I'm so glad that I did it. I saw some amazing things, met some amazing talented people, and had the experience of a lifetime. Working close with organizations that are making a difference, such as Water of Life, has opened my eyes to the needs of the world and the impact our generation can have on making it a better place. If you're someone who would like to be a part of that change, I'll have links below in the description with information on how you can get started. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys in my next one. Thanks.